To honor the memory of her mother, Angie enters a Christmas tree decorating contest, only to find out that her recently widowed high school sweetheart and his 10-year-old daughter will be participating as well. In the opening scene, we are taken through the beautiful Christmas spirit of the town before we get to see Angie. Angie is taking care of a baby Christmas tree when her coworker Blair lets her know that the tree has to go outside. Not only has Angie named the tree Geraldine, but she has also made sure to prepare the store the way her mother did. She hopes that her mother is proud and Blair assures her that the store is just like she left it. Checking the mail, Blair pulls out an envelope and excitedly announces that the schedule for the Christmas contest has been released. The contest consists of hot chocolate from around the world, Malibu Christmas carols, and a tradition of making gingerbread houses, which is Angie's father's favorite. The tree decorating contest is her mother's favorite, as they used to do it all the time when she was alive. Seeing a small girl wandering around outside, Angie gets the cookie platter and heads out to help her. The little girl asks for a big tree but small enough to fit the top of the car. Knowing that it will take a lot of work, Angie offers her a cookie, but when she asks who she's shopping with, she is surprised to see David, so much so that she drops some of the cookies. David reveals that they're home for Christmas and will be staying at his sister's for a couple of weeks, and when she told him that they needed a tree, he came to the best place. Angie lets them know that they have the happiest trees, but the little girl wonders how a tree can be happy. Angie decides to show her right away, and they get to Abigail, a tall, luscious tree that ends up being the perfect match. Not catching the little girl's name, Angie asks what she's called, and the little girl reveals that she was named by her mother Gabby, which is the same as Angie. David asks about her mother and Angie reveals that she passed away last Christmas, so David tells her that Gabby's mother passed away a couple of years ago as well. They get back to tree shopping and head inside to pack up Abigail. After giving them what they wanted, they head out of the store, so Blair takes the chance to gush over David visiting Angie. Angie reminds her that he had only come to pick a tree, but Blair isn't convinced. Returning to his sister's place, Gabby runs up to her aunt to give her a big hug. She lets her know that they've bought a tree from Angie, and Lily can't help but wonder why David drove that far for a tree. However, she says nothing of it as they get back inside. After finishing work, Angie returns home only to find her father making the stone ginge, his new recreation and an elevated version of a ginger house. Angie tells him all about David. Noticing the misplaced Christmas decoration, she moves it to the center of the room while reminding her father that her mother wants it to be that way. Stopping in the middle of her sentence, she remembers that her mother passed away, so it wouldn't matter where the decorative piece is. As they're talking about the Christmas festivities that will take place, her father reveals that her mother had always wanted to join the Christmas decorating contest, and her biggest wish was to win. Given that her mother used to run the tree shop, Angie is looking forward to honoring her mother by decorating the trees. Picking up the card, Angie comes up with a brilliant idea. The following morning, she rushes to the store to tell Angie about joining the Christmas decorating tree contest. Blythe isn't happy, claiming that she doesn't know anything about decoration, but Angie assures her that she'll take care of everything. All she needs to do is plug the lights when the time comes. Even though she's hesitant, she ends up agreeing to help her in the competition. Right off the bat, she comes up with a Christmas decoration that secures them to the next round. Flight of the Bumble Tree is what she suggests, and they go with it. Next, we're taken to the competition the following day where Blair and Angie begin decorating. After throwing one too many bee puns, Blair is left alone at the tree as Angie heads to check on the others. Spotting a familiar tree, she stops to observe it after noticing that every tree was crooked except for that one. She sees David, who surprisingly reveals that it's the tree she sold to them, Abigail, and that they're joining the competition as well. Betty, the head of the competition, comes around to remind them of the rules, which are that the competition is only 3 rounds. The first round is freestyle, and they're allowed to decorate the tree their way. 5 trees will move on to the semifinals, where the contestants will be given a surprise theme 48 hours before the competition. In the final round, only 3 trees will be competing, and the theme will be the same as every year, the meaning of Christmas. Shortly, Betty gives everyone the green light and they start decorating their trees. Sparkle and glitter fill the room as Betty yells time, letting everyone know that the round has finished. Nervously, Blair and Angie stand before their tree when David approaches them with some compliments. Before they head back to the tree, Gabby lets them know that she hopes they win together. Betty comes to the tree and the duo tells her that it was inspired by the song Flight of the Bumblebee, with little musical notes all over the tree and bee-like colors. Blair hopes that they didn't bumble it jokingly, and Betty responds that she loves the sweet touch of the honeycombs. Heading to David and Gabby's tree, Betty is surprised to see all the colors of it. Gabby lets her know that the tree was bought from Angie and that their theme is the 4th of July, her favorite holiday after Christmas. The first round ends better than what they expected, with Angie and Blair being the first runner-ups, while Gabby and David win the first round. Happy for her competitors, Angie heads to their tree to congratulate them on the win. As she returns to the tree to help Blair take it down, Blair can't help but smile suspiciously about her and David. Returning to their Aunt Lily's, Gabby asks for them to decorate the house, but David claims that it would be too much work for them to take it down. Lily puts on her coat as she reminds David where the decorations are, but he tells her that he doesn't want to make a mess given how hard she works. Before she leaves, he asks her whether Gabby's mentioned what she wants for Christmas, but Lily has no clue. Over at Angie's house, we see her struggling to wrap her father's gift as he sits down next to her. Instead of hiding the gift, she lets him see it, and he is thankful for the new slippers he wanted. Looking at the scrunched-up wrapping paper on the table, her father lets her know that her mother used to be the best wrapper, reminding her of the time she wrapped a suitcase in the shape of a bike. Even though her mother was exceptional, her father didn't feel like he had to keep up with her pace, as he did things in his special way. Handing her the now perfectly wrapped gift, he promises to act surprised once he sees it on Christmas morning. As they're lighting up a bonfire in the woods, David notices his daughter being quiet. Given that it's unusual for her to be like that, he asks her what's wrong and she admits to missing her mother. He tells her that he thinks a lot about her as well, and when she asks for him to be specific, he reveals that he thinks about her smile, her hair, and how she loved the tropical weather and sunflowers. Hearing him say that, Gabby lets him know that she finally knows what she wants for Christmas. The following morning, we see David at the tree shop telling Angie that he needs some flowers. She tells him that Blair can help him with that as she's working in that section. But Blair is quick to deny that and asks Angie to do it, only to get them to be left alone together. After looking at all the flowers, David still seems unsatisfied. He tells Angie that he's looking for sunflowers, and while he knows that it's hard to get them, he hopes that she can find a way since it is a way for Gabby to honor her mother. They get a notification at the same time and it is from Betty. She lets them know that the next theme will be angels and evergreen, and Angie can't help but feel nervous. As David leaves, Blair comes up to her to inform her, and even though she already knows, the nervousness gets worse. Before heading to the town hall for the second round, Angie talks to her father as he prepares gingerbread men to give out at the event. She admits to being nervous, but he assures her that they'll figure it out on their way there. As they're unpacking the decorations around their trees, Angie notices that Baggy and David are nowhere to be seen. She calls them and David reveals that they can't get there in time because they have a flat tire. However, Angie decides to help them as she drives to Lily's just to get them to the hall in time. They are surprised to see her there, but she immediately picks up some of their boxes to put them in her car, and they manage to get there in time. Same as the previous round, the contestants get working on their tree immediately. Angie and Blair manage to decorate the whole tree, but as she puts the angel on top, unfortunately, it falls as Betty yells time, so that leaves them without a star at the top of the tree. Betty visits Gabby and David's tree, which seems to be covered in angels. Gabby reveals that the tree has 100 angels on it and makes sure to mention how grateful she is to Angie for getting them there on time. Seeing how good of a friend Angie is, Betty decides to head to their tree next. Their inspiration for angles and evergreen are the people of Green Pine Grove, so they represent all the people that have contributed to their town, among them being her mother as well. Betty mentions their late start as well as the falling of their angels, but Angie assures her that helping David and Angie was worth it. And despite the difficulties they had, Angie and Blair qualified for the final of the competition in third place, while David and Gabby came in second. They head to where Angie is standing to thank her, so Gabby takes the chance to invite Angie to dinner. David tells Gabby that she might be busy, but Blair chimes in to confirm that she's not, so they settle on dinner at 5. Later in the afternoon, we see Angie struggling to find what to wear for dinner, but Blair thinks that she's trying to look her best since she's going on a date. After rummaging for some time, Angie finds the perfect shirt, which is both appropriate, but not too much. Angie doesn't seem to be the only one who's nervous as we see David cleaning the house frantically. Same as Blair, Lily is convinced that he's preparing for a date, but he assures her that it's just dinner. Ready to go to dinner, Angie comes down with Blair to say goodbye to her father. Not letting her go empty-handed, he hands her the chocolate ginger bridge to take as a gift. Arriving at Lily's, she puts the bridge down, but Gabby can't help but stare at it in awe. Angie catches up with Lily as David puts her coat away, but once he comes back, Gabby drags Angie to give her a house tour. Getting to her room, she introduces her goldfish to Angie, but Angie can't help but notice the picture of her and her mom. Gabby gets saddened for a moment, so Angie lets her know that she feels the same. However, she knows that her mother wouldn't want her to be sad, so she asks her to cheer up. Given that they're in the same situation, Angie thanks Gabby for being her friend and for understanding, before David comes to tell them that dinner is done. As they finish dinner, Angie is surprised to hear that Gabby's never built the snowman, given that she resides in sunny Florida. Angie can't accept the fact that she's never built a snowman, so she asks Gabby to gear up because they're going to make it their front yard. They make the body of the snowman but are short of decorations. Angie asks them not to worry as she introduces them to her mother's secret snowman recipe. They'll need to use raisins for the eyes, candy cane for the mouth, and a carrot for the nose. However, that doesn't go to plan as the only things Gabby could find are olives for the eyes, ketchup for the mouth, and a pickle for the nose. After finishing the snowman, they take a picture together and have some more fun in the snow. To warm up after being outside, they sit around the fireplace with a warm cup of hot chocolate. It is time for Gabby to go to bed, so David asks her to go brush her teeth. As she leaves, Angie tells him that she's a sweet girl, and he reveals that it's been hard on her with her mother passing, which is why he decides to bring her back. It's been hard on him as well, and even though he assures Gabby that they'll be fine, he fears parenting without Gabrielle. Little Gabby comes back to show off her white pears, so David goes with her to tuck her in. Before he does though, Gabby asks Angie whether she'll be back, and she assures her that she will. In bed, Gabby lets her father know that not only does she love being around Angie, but she loves being around him when he's with her. Coming back, he finds Angie in the kitchen washing some dishes, so he lets her know that she doesn't need to do that. Being the Christmas fanatic she is, Angie asks where his decorations are, noticing that there aren't any. Gabrielle has always been the decorator in their house, and since her passing, he's found it hard to celebrate anything. Even though their life is drastically different, Angie believes that they can find a reason for celebrating. Soon after, we see David and Angie unpacking the old boxes of decorations. After letting him know where to put what, she returns to the boxes where she finds an old drawing of him and her that David had drawn. Looking deeply into her eyes, he asks her to take the drawing and keep it as he wants her to remember him. Their intense moment is broken up as Lily returns from work. Realizing that it's late, Angie puts on her coat ready to leave. The next morning, we see David on a call with his boss. He seems to be upset but reveals that he has gotten a promotion. Before he gets a chance to talk to his sister about why he's upset, Gabby walks in. In the tree shop, Gabby goes over the whole dinner with Blair. She finally admits that she likes David and even calls him cute, but she doesn't notice that he's standing right in front of her. Changing the subject immediately, she tells him that they were discussing Toasty, the snowman they made. He asks about the gala for the contest that is later in the evening and even suggests they all go together since Gabby will be asleep. No is what Blair manages to say, and they look at her confused. She clears her throat and says that she has plans but suggests he picks up Angie, and they go together. As he leaves, Angie tells Blair she knows that she doesn't have any plans, but Blair pokes fun at her while reminding her that she does. Later in the evening, David goes to Angie's where he's greeted by her father. They talk about their lives and the loss of their wives when David gets lost for words. Following his gaze, her father notices him staring at the beautiful Angie coming down the stairs. Before they leave, her father asks them to be back at 11, just like in the high school days. As they arrive at the gala, they are greeted by Betty, who lets them know that everyone is talking about them. However, both of them deny anything as they claim only to have come for the dance. All of a sudden, their senior prom songs start playing, so they have no choice but to dance. As they start dancing, they agree that prom feels like it was a long time ago, as well as if it was the previous day. One of the best memories they have, they thought that it would be the worst. Both of them laugh as they remember being dumped on prom day, but in the end, that was what got them together. Angie lets him know that she wishes they stayed in contact, and even though life happened for the both of them, they're happy to be back. After the dance, he takes her home, and as they're talking about the great time they had, they spot a mistletoe above their heads. As they lean in to kiss, her father interrupts them, offering hot chocolate. Angie asks him to leave, and as he does, she thanks him for the amazing night. The next morning, we can see Angie upset because she struggles to find daisies for Gabby. Receiving a phone call, she is happy to find out that they have sunflowers for her. But unfortunately, it's after Christmas when Gabby and David won't be in town. David gets caught up in the Christmas spirit as we see him still decorating Lily's house. However, she reminds him of Florida, and even though he hasn't told Gabby, Angie is the one he wants to tell first. When Angie sees him in the shop, she assumes that he's there for the sunflowers, so she apologizes for not having them. Instead, she hands him a baby Christmas tree for Gabby that she knows will take care of. Finally, David has a chance to say what he wanted to say, but unfortunately, he says nothing of the promotion, but asks Angie whether they can build another snowman together. The following morning, David and Gabby are enjoying some breakfast when Lily comes back from her shift. David starts preparing some breakfast for her, and as Gabby leaves, he takes the chance to tell Lily about not taking the promotion. However, he soon hears some snores as she falls asleep on the counter. Soon enough, Angie comes around as well and they build another snowman. As they work on the snowman, David gets a call from his boss. Taking the call on the side, David lets him know that he won't be taking the promotion as he believes that there's an opportunity waiting for him in his hometown. They go inside to get warmer and Angie decides to give Gabby her Christmas tree, which she takes to water immediately. David goes to help her, so Lily and Angie start talking about the competition. Lily thinks it's sad how David and Gabby wouldn't be able to enjoy themselves if they win because of his promotion, and Angie is surprised to hear that they'll be leaving early. To make matters worse, Lily tells her that even though David had assured her that there's nothing between them, she loves to imagine them being together. Shocked and hurt by what Lily tells her, Angie decides to leave immediately, but David follows behind. He tells her that he wanted to share something, so she assumes that he wanted to tell her about the promotion. Angie reveals that her sister had told him, and tells him that it's for the best that they return to their regular lives and focus on what's truly important. Before she leaves, he tries to tell her something, but given that she made up her mind, he just wishes her good luck for tomorrow's competition. Angie sheds some tears as she drives off, and it doesn't seem to be easy for him, as well as he takes off all the decorations she encouraged him to put up. The following morning, we can see the hall filled with Christmas decorations and desserts. Knowing that their time will come to an end, Angie heads to David and Gabby to let them know that they've been fun competitors. Blair tries to change her mind, claiming that there must be more to the story, but she doesn't want to hear of it. Betty comes around for the last time to announce the final competition and let everyone know that the audience will determine the winner by voting. The competition begins and we can see all the contestants express their creative minds. The decorating comes to an end, and Betty decides to visit Angie and Blair's tree first. The theme is the meaning of Christmas, so Angie reveals that her inspiration was her mother and every Christmas that she spent with her. The tree, filled with her mother's favorite red roses, honoring her and what Christmas meant to her, is what it means to Angie. David and Gabby's tree has a deeper meaning as well. They reveal that their tree is inspired by everything that they did that Christmas. From drinking hot chocolate to building a snowman, Gabby shows all the ornaments representing their activities. Betty gathers everyone around to announce the winners, which are Angie and Blair, of course. She congratulates the winners and reminds everyone to come to the tree lighting the following day, where Angie and Blair's tree will be put. Gabby congratulates Angie for the win and even asks her to join them for hot chocolate. Unfortunately, Angie tells her that she has work to do, which saddens her. Before she goes to bed, David sits down to let Gabby know that they're going back to Florida the following day for his promotion. However, Gabby reminds him that he promised her that they'll go to the tree lighting, so he has no choice but to do so. Angie seems to be upset as well as she struggles to build the gingerbread house, and her father notices that. David and Gabby coming to the town had made her feel better, but she feels like she's losing them, and despite winning the competition, she feels like she's missing something. To cheer her up, her father tells her the story of his and her mother's first Christmas together. Just married, they had no money to their name, but her mother had splurged out on a turkey for Christmas dinner. Unfortunately, her father had fallen while trying to put the star on the tree, so she rushed to help him without realizing that she had left the turkey low for the dog to reach. Even though they ate a can of green beans and toast for dinner, it is one of the best memories her father has of her. He lets his daughter know that Christmas is not about the way things are done, but rather why they're done. Despite not having her around for Christmas, they have the love that she gave them. Before the tree lighting starts, Angie goes to the tree shop to get some things done, only to see Blair there. Blair asks what happened between her and David, but she decides to change the topic since she doesn't want to get emotional. She hands Blair a present, and once she opens it, she is excited to see some new aprons that will finally replace the old itchy ones. Angie lets her know that she had been right. It's okay to let go of some things and not do everything like her mother did, as long as she holds to the things that matter. Speaking about the things that matter, Blair tells her that she needs to call David as a guy with a lot of sunflowers walks in. Angie is surprised, so Blair reveals that she pulled some strings to get her something that mattered to her. Instead of calling him, Angie comes up with a better idea. At the town square, Angie gets on the stage to thank everyone for their votes but lets everyone know that she doesn't deserve them. Losing her mother the previous year had made her hold on to her memories, but she admits to forgetting why she loved Christmas so much. It is a holiday when people come together, so to honor her mother the way she would have liked, she lets everyone know that she redecorated the tree with some special help from her friend. The tree is introduced, and not only is it sparkling and magical but filled with sunflowers from top to bottom. Her father congratulates her on the amazing speech before giving her a big hug. David and Gabby come to her as well, and she lets him know that she has another speech, asking him to stay because they've known each other their whole lives and she doesn't want him to go. She fears that he might remind her of his life in Florida, but he grabs her hand as reassurance and even says that they're already home. She is worried about his job, but he isn't, as the only thing he cares about is being with her, no matter where they are. Finally, they share their first kiss, surrounded by their family and friends.